Okay, so we're gonna get started because we have a full day. Full day, last day, exciting day. Who's excited to get over with this course? Who's excited? Who's looking forward to get it done? Not everybody. I think that most of you, deep down, you really are looking forward to getting things done here. Okay, so again, just a quick check. I will assume that you guys can hear me well. Can you just give me a quick confirmation there? Once again, just want to check. Perfect, Christian. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, awesome. Okay, great. So here is what we will be doing today, how things will be done today. So I will demonstrate exercise 15 under week 13. So I'll be demonstrating this one here. Exercise 15. Druval. Sorry. Okay, so I'll be demonstrating exercise 15. If we have enough time, I'll go through exercise 16 as well. We may have enough time because I'll see what I can do to speed things up a little bit with exercise 15. Okay, so that's about it. And then after we are done with exercise 15 and 16, a quick review of both, we get our final test going. Any question in general? By the way, assignment 4, I have not started grading yet, so I'll be grading during this week, and the final grades for this test will be coming next week. But are there any questions in general or in particular, anything that anyone wants to mention before I get started? Okay, so search using lists. We're gonna be doing that with, so the question is how to search using lists. We're gonna be doing that during exercise 16. Okay, so I'll be demonstrating that on exercise 16. Probably, okay? Just to give you a quick idea, you're gonna loop through, you're gonna go for each inside the list and compare the name. If it's a match, you got it. If it's not, go to the next one. And then you keep going in a for each loop. It's about 5 lines of code, 4 or 5 lines of code. It's not very complicated. Again, just a for each loop. Okay. Okay, okay, Prablin, I'm not able to update numeric up and down and combo box. Okay, that's fine. You're gonna see how to do that. If you have a question as we go through the exercise, you ask right there and then, okay? There's a question, will you discuss in both exercises? That's what I'm gonna try. Yes. So I'll be discussing both exercises, okay? So let's get this started then. So program exercise 15, we have stopped on that last class. We have done the classes. Okay, so we have put together vehicle class, bicycle, and car. We will move forward now. We have implemented all those 3 classes. We're gonna move to the interface, okay? But just to speed things up a little bit, and for the sake of timing, I don't want to start the test at 8 o'clock, 8:30. I want to start it earlier, so you are fresher, let's put it this way, but I want to cover this well. So I'm gonna do a little bit of copy and paste from this from the component standpoint. I'm gonna use some of the components already implemented. Kang. Yes, thank you very much, Kang. Probably you may want to check what Kang is mentioned there. Those are the properties that you can modify when using a combo box and a numeric up and down. Okay, thank you, Kang. Thank you for that. Okay, so I have our original vehicle app with the 3 classes implemented. I have that here. So just to recap, we have vehicle, which is an abstract class. We have a bunch of properties here. We have a constructor. And we have this abstract method, which is called operate. Then we have car, which inherits from vehicle. It has 2 additional properties, fuel and number of passengers. It has a new constructor with the additional properties. And it implements the operate method. Bicycle as well. We have it inherits from vehicle. It has tire size and terrain. It has its own constructor with 2 additional arguments, parameters, and it overrides the operate method. Okay. Now in our UI, for our form, we're gonna call our form as FRM vehicle. Okay, so let me do this. I'm just reorganize my screen here so I can see things better. Okay, so we're gonna call this form under the names FRM vehicle. Let's call it vehicles. Okay, so that's the name of our form. We're gonna rename the title of our form to vehicles. That's fine. So let's go to the form properties under text. Vehicles. I'm going to demonstrate this once again because I know that some of you will have this problem. So please pay attention to this. If you create an event by mistake like this that I'm doing right now, look, I just double click and it created an event. So my recommendation to you is leave it. Don't try to delete it. It's better if you don't delete it and leave it there than trying to delete it and make something wrong. To make it right, go back to the form, go to the form events, delete it from the see, it can be hard sometimes. Delete it from the loads, save it, then you can go back to your code, and actually sometimes it gets rid of it for you automatically. But again, for the sake of test, to be quite honest, you may not want to worry about that. So even if you leave some events empty there, that's better than losing than getting caught up in corrupting your project, your solution there, okay? So don't worry too much about this. In any case, here's the vehicles. Here's the vehicle form. We're gonna add this group box. Okay, so we have a group box for vehicle information. We have 6 labels here. Let me see if yes, I can increase this. Okay, so we have the group box here. We have 6 labels plus 4 more labels here. We have 3 other group boxes here for cars, for bikes, types of vehicle. We have radio buttons here. We have numeric up and down, combo box, and a bunch of text boxes, okay? So I will walk you through those controls, but I'm gonna copy them from another project that I have created already. So here is the whole interface, and I'm gonna walk you through the elements. So as you can see, the labels, I'm not worrying about their names because they are static labels. And I don't know why this is a automatically selecting. Well, doesn't matter. Okay, so as you can see here, I have modified the text property, but not the name property. Okay, so don't worry about the names. Now, the text boxes, as you can see, they all have names because we're going to be making references to those text boxes in our code. Okay, so I put proper text names like txt price, txt warranty, txt store, txt name. Okay, all of them, they all have proper names. Okay, there's a question here. Can you show us anyone how to create? How to create? Well, I guess that you're talking about dragging to the form here. So I can do this. So text box, I drag it to the form, and here's the control. I just rename it txt my text box. Okay, so someone asked to show how to create it. I just did. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. I have Padlet open here as well. And yeah, so if you have any problems, let me know. I'll be sharing the codes once we go through it with all of you. Okay, so we also have labels here: passenger, fuel, tire size, terrain. I'm not changing their names at all. I'm just leaving them as is. We also have numeric up and down. Now, numeric up and down, we need to change the name because we're going to be making reference to it. Combo box as well, CBO fuel, numeric up and down for tire size, NRUD tire size, CBO terrain. So we have all of them, we put proper names. Okay. Now, for the combo box, because, okay, if you cannot find the toolbox, I see a question here saying that he cannot find the toolbox. Okay, so go to view and go to toolbox, but you need to have a form loaded. Okay, if you are in your code, you don't see the toolbox. Toolbox only shows up when you have the form loaded, the form displayed. Okay, that's how you go about it. You go view, toolbox. Okay, so now let's have a look at the exercise there. Let's go from the exercise. So we have the UI. We also need, look, it says use combo box fuel with the following options. So we have gas, diesel, electric, and hybrids. And terrain, it should be paved and unpaved. Okay, so to put those values in the combo box, I select the combo box, let's say fuel. I go to the items, which is a collection. Click the three dots, and then I can put fuel, gas, diesel, electric, and hybrids. Okay, each line a different name. Okay, and then I do something similar to the terrain. I go to the items, to the collection, and I put paved and unpaved here. Okay, so this is how you can manually add the items to the combo boxes. Okay, then we have our third group box, which I don't care about the name, but inside of it we have a radio button for car, RBTN car, and RBTN bicycle. Okay, RBTN car and bicycle. For the RBTN car, because we only have two radio buttons, I want to set one of them as the default ones that will be selected, well, by default. So I'm going to go to car, I'm going to go to the checked property and I'm going to set to true. By default, it's set to false, but I'm going to change it to true. And the last control here that we have is the button control. Okay, so this button will say create vehicle. I'm gonna put it right in the corner, and we're gonna call it btn create vehicle, and the text on top of it will just display create vehicle. That's it. Okay, so in the exercise, let's see what else we have. So we provided proper names to the GUI controls. We just did that. We have to declare and create a private field called vehicles in the form class. The type of vehicles will be a list of vehicle. Okay? This list will store the vehicle object once it gets created. Okay, so let's go to our code. How do I look at the code of the form? I can right click the form. I can go to view code. I'm gonna declare our private fields as part of this class. Okay, so look, it's asking for that. Declare and create a private field called vehicles in the form class. So I'm gonna do this right here in the form class. Private list of vehicle. So I'm creating a list of, I'm declaring a list of vehicles. I'm gonna call this vehicles. And I'm gonna not only declare, but I'm going to create as well. So I'm going to say new list vehicle. When we use a constructor, we call the constructor by calling the parentheses. Okay, so we not only declared, but we have also created it. Okay. Okay, so next one here. We did this combo box already. We did both of them. Now we will be working with the car, with the save actually. If car button is selected, the for cars group box should be enabled and the for bikes group box should be disabled. If bicycle radio button is selected, the for cars group box should be disabled. So in a nutshell, what this is telling us, these two items, those two ifs here, is that if car is selected, only this box will be enabled, will be available so we can enter information. This one would be disabled. But if bicycle is selected, for cars will be the one disabled, and for bikes will be the one enabled, will be available for the user to input information. I have a question there. How did you create Formula 1 Designer? It's not showing in my desktop. Formula 1 Designer, it's, I don't know which version you're using there, but it comes by default. Don't worry about this. As long as you are seeing the form, if you are able to look at the form, this should be in the folder of your project. I'm gonna have a look here. If I right click vehicle app, if I go to the folder, you should see here Formula 1 Designer.cs. Okay, perfect. Glad you got it. Okay, so as I was saying, we're gonna work through how to flip which group box will be enabled, which group box will be disabled. Okay, so here's the thing. Because you're gonna be enabling and disabling an entire group box, we will need to know their names in our codes. So I have named the first group box as GRB car, and I have renamed the second one as GRB bike, because you're gonna be enabling and disabling it, okay? So I'm gonna just get the name here. Now, who can tell me, or who can give me a suggestion of what should be the events that we're gonna be coding when we change who's the one selected here? What is the event? What do you think will be the event? We have quite a lot of events here. Okay, Kang, good option there, but I'm talking about the events. Visible, enabled, those are properties. Visible, let me see here. Yeah, visible changed. It's not about being visible or not, because they might be visible, but I'm changing its value, okay? Enabled is a property, okay? Durval, yeah. Prablin, checked, changed. Yes, that's the one. So you're gonna go to this event called check change or something like that. Let's see here. What's the name here? Yes, check change, correct. So we have check change here, okay? We're gonna use it to trigger a code whenever the selection changes there. Checked change will happen when I check or I uncheck. It doesn't matter. See, and it doesn't matter if I'm doing this from the code or from the click of the mouse, okay? That's why I don't use click, because we can change the value from the code as well. If you change the value from the code, if you change the selection from the codes, it's not the same as clicking the button. So check change is an event that happens whenever the buttons get selected or unselected, okay? So I'm gonna use this to do our code. So here I'm gonna say if rbtn car dot checked, then something will happen here. What is this something? Well, we're gonna, for the GBR car, we're gonna enable it. We're gonna say GBR car dot enabled equals to true, because I'm selecting the radio button of the car is selected, so it means that the group car has to be selected. Sorry, has to be enabled. Actually, let me do one thing before I code this. Let me just run this code to see what I mean by this, okay? Just do a quick run here. Actually, let me just check one more thing. Enabled. Okay, let me run this once again. Forget of what I just did. I did it quickly so you could not see it well, but I did it on purpose. Look, both areas are available right now, but what I want is, I want if bike gets selected, this becomes enabled, this becomes disabled. And the opposite happens with car. If car is selected, this becomes enabled, this becomes disabled. Okay, so I want to flip them. That's what I'm doing with the code now. Now, let's look at the code. So I'm saying, if the check button, if the radio button car is checked, enable the group car, but disable the other group, which is the group bike. Disable this one, okay? Okay, there's a question in the chat. I forgot to which tool we need to drag and drop for vehicle information. Vehicle information. I'm assuming that this is the big group box here, okay? So that's a group box. That is a group box for this entire area. Okay, so this is the if. Now we have an else statement. In the else statement, we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna disable car and enable bike. Let's see how this goes. Look, if I'm gonna click bicycle, car, can you see that they are disabling and enabling? Can you notice that? If car is selected, this one top is enabled. The one in the bottom, disabled. If bicycle is selected, button enabled, cars disabled. That's the idea. That's what we just did. Does that make sense? Any questions there with this check here? Okay. Okay. Great. So this is how this can work. Let me see if there are any questions there on Padlet. No questions. Okay. Okay. So again, feel free to ask. This is the only time left to ask, to be quite honest. Okay. Okay, so let's keep going here. Now, look at this. I didn't even have to bother to check the other radio button, because if one is checked, the other one is not. So it works like that, you know. So again, I don't need to worry about bicycle, because if car is true, it means that car is selected, bicycle is not selected. If car is false, the checked value, it means that car is not selected and bicycle is selected. Okay, I see a question here, but I don't fully understand the question, but let me see here. There's a point here. Can you start from the top real fast again, just from questions 1 to 5? Questions 1 to 5. Okay. Questions 1 to 5. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what's questions 1 to 5. Abstract operator. Step 1 to 3. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. We don't have much time. This, I mean, I get it. You may have a question about this, but we have gone through this step by step on last class. We have gone through the entire creation of the classes. Last class, I have the video recorded. I mean, I don't know how, I don't know, can you start from top real fast again, just from questions? Abstract operator. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna try here. But again, we went through this step by step last class. The recording was provided next day, and but okay, let's give this a try. Yeah, I don't even know where to start here, but yeah, vehicle is an abstract class. We use the keyword abstract. We have the properties here. We have the constructor here. We have the abstract operate method here. Then we have bicycle, which inherits from vehicle. And we have car, which inherits from vehicle as well. And car has fuel and number of passengers. And vehicle has sorry, bicycle has tire size and terrain. And then we have constructor. Yes, Duval, I'll be providing the codes right after I'm demonstrating it. Okay, so again, sorry about that, but I went very, very slowly on this part here. Last class, you had a week to review this. Okay, we have to move forward, otherwise you don't get your test done today. Okay. Now, if you have any specific questions about those classes, ask, please, but specific questions. Okay, so let me see, where was I? Okay, so we were just enabling and disabling this. Okay, it's okay if I use visible instead of enabled. It's okay. It's okay. Now let's just have a look at the exercise and see what it's asking actually. So it's asking to be enabled. So I would stick with enable because it's asking specifically for that. But if you make it visible or not, it would be okay as well. I mean, I would consider something, but again, the exercise is asking specifically for enabled. Okay, so let's use the property, the enabled one. Okay, Christian, could you show me the element used for fuel entire size in the form? No problem. So fuel entire size. So fuel is the combo box, which is this one here. So it's a combo box, fuel. Entire size is the numeric up and down, which is this one here. Numeric up and down. Okay, I don't know if you would like to click on them, but again, this is the combo box, and the other one is the numeric up and down. Okay, does that make sense? Was that the question? Okay. Okay, so let's move forward here. And now we're gonna code the create vehicle button. Okay, so we're gonna code what will happen when the user clicks create vehicle. Let's see. So a new vehicle will be created and all information fields in the GUI will be used to set the vehicle properties. Okay, so let's do that. So we're gonna go to our code here and we're gonna click in the create vehicle here. So in the create, oh, by the way, I forgot one quick thing here. Let me run the code and you're gonna see this. So look at this. By default, car is selected, but you can see that bicycle is enabled here. So we cannot have bicycle enabled. So we have to set enabled for bikes by default equals to false. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say for this group box, by default, enabled should be set to false. With that, when I run again, I will have by default, look, by default, for bikes will be disabled because car is selected by default. Okay, so now I can flip and flop, but I just wanted to fix this for the first time that you run the application. Okay. Okay, so create vehicle. Let's double click there. You can double click on it, or you can click on it, go to the events, double click on click, and then you have the codes for the event. Okay, so how do you think that this should start? What do you think that I should start doing here? I'm about to create a vehicle. What should I do here? What should I start this with? Anyone? Yes, probably yes. Let's check the radio button. Let's check whether or not I'm going to create a car or I'm going to create a bicycle. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do like this. If rbtn car dot checked, so I'm going to check the car. If car is checked, I know that I need to create a new car. Okay, so I'm going to create here new car. Else, if it's not a new car, it's a new bicycle. Okay, so I'm going to create a new bicycle here. Okay, and so we're going to put the code here for a new car, and we're going to put the code here for a new bicycle. However, let's look at this. Actually, let's do it like this. So let's declare a new car. Let's say car equals to new car. Okay, so we're gonna declare a car. We're gonna create a car here, but in the constructor of car, we have many arguments. Okay, so we have to send all those arguments to our new car, starting with what? Let's see. Starting with the name. So look, we have a bunch of text boxes here that we're going to be using. Okay, name, brand, price, warranty, and store. So let's use them. So I'm going to start using txt name. Property. What is the property? How we're gonna use try in a little bit. Okay, but yes, we're gonna use try as well, but in a little bit. Let's wait with that one for a little bit there. So to get the name of the car, we have the text box, the text property of the control. So we call the text property of the txt name. Brands, txt brand, which is the name of the control, txt brand, like this one here. The name, look at the name. So txt brand dot text as well. Next one, price. Price is a double. So we have txt price dot text. But because this is a text and the parameter is expecting a double, we have to parse this. We have to say double dot parse. So we parse the price here. Okay, so we convert the price, the text, which is a string, from string to a double. And then I have to keep going. We have now the warranty as well. The warranty is an integer. So we're gonna have to call txt warranty dot text. This is the property. But once again, we have to convert to an integer because it's expecting an integer parameter. So int dot parse. Then we have the property here, comma again. Now store. Store is a string, so there's no conversion. So txt store dot text. Now we have fuel, which is a string, and number of passengers. Fuel is coming from this control here. So it's cbo fuel dot text. So we're gonna say cbo fuel dot text. And the last one, number of passengers. Number of passengers is this one here, the numeric up and down. Numeric up and down, it has a property called value. The value property is a decimal. So look at this. Value is a decimal, as you can see here. But this parameter is an integer. So we have to convert from a decimal back to an integer. So I'm going to do this conversion not with parse. Parse is used to convert strings to numbers. But to convert a number to another number, another type of number, we use we use this type of syntax. We use casting here. Okay, so I'm saying convert this decimal to an integer. So with that, we have our car. Now, in the chat, please, what do I do with this car? Yes, Joseph, there are different ways to convert, okay, to cast. So you can use convert to int, that's fine as well, okay? Now, with the car created, what should I do next? How do I store this car in my list? How do I do that? Exactly, Kang. So what we're gonna do is, the name of our list is vehicles. So I'm gonna say vehicles dot add, and then I'm gonna add the car here. Exactly. Okay, so we have the car. Perfect, that's it. Now, guess what? Bicycle. I'm gonna pause for a second here. Any questions there? Any question in the chat? Anyone? Anybody? Okay, so let me check Padlet as well. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to do something similar to the bicycle, but instead of creating a car, I'm going to create a bicycle. So I'm going to say bicycle. I'm going to call it with lowercase b equals to new bicycle. Parameters are different, but down to store, they are the same. It changes fuel. There's no fuel in bicycle. It changes number of passengers as well. But the first part, it's all the same. So I'm going to do a copy and paste here. Now, I'm going to add the tire size, which is an integer. So tire size comes from this numeric up and down. So tire size here. So we have numeric up and down dot value. Now, this is a decimal. The parameter is expecting an integer, so I'm going to convert to an integer. Comma again, and then we have terrain. Terrain is a combo box which has a text property. So I'm going to say CBO terrain, which is the name of the combo box. The property is text, and we have our new bike, our new bicycle here. Now, similar to what we did with car, we added to the collection. We're gonna add here to the collection as well. So we're just gonna say vehicles.add bicycle. Okay, so with that, we have added our new vehicle to the collection. Okay, let me see what else we have here for this one. Okay, so I'm gonna pause for a second here. Any questions? Anything about this? Any questions? Okay. Okay, so now let's carry on. Let's see what else the exercise is asking from us. So a new vehicle will be created, and the information field, we did that. So we did this point here. Let's do the next one. Use a try-catch block to handle any invalid inputs, like when the user enters text in the warranty or price. Show a message to let the user knows about the input problem. So we're gonna handle this problem here. Let's try to compile to run our codes. So we have the code here. I'm gonna run the application. And let's say that I just put some dummy data here. As you can see, price, I just put characters here. Warranty, just characters. If I click on create vehicle, we're gonna have a problem because it's gonna try to convert to decimal, but it won't be able to, or to integer. Let's have a look here. Create vehicle. Look, we got an exception. We got a format exception, okay? So let's handle this exception. So here's the thing. We can put this whole thing inside a try catch block. So I'm going to involve the whole thing. And I'm going to say catch. I could catch a general exception or a very specific one. The one that gave the problem there was format exception. I'm going to call this error. Okay? And it asked for us to provide a message that shows the problem. So I'm going to say this. Message box. Message box, you use that class to bring a small pop-up. Message box dot show. And then we can put a message. Well, the message can be error dot message. Yeah. Okay. And let's see. So we put the try. Let's get this a try. So we're gonna simulate another error here. I'm gonna create vehicle, and now as you can see, it shows input string was not in a correct format. Okay, so now we know that we have to fix something here in the data that we have entered. Okay, because the exercise is not asking you to handle any particular error, if you put here just exception, it's okay, it would have been okay as well. Okay. Okay. Again, any questions about the try catch block? Okay, so let's keep going there. Let's keep going with the exercise. So we put the try catch block, we put that, then it says add the newly created vehicle to the list of vehicles. We did that as well. The list should store the list of all vehicles. We got that covered. Clear, here's the point, clear all text boxes and sets the selected type of vehicle to car. Okay, so let's do this. What this is asking is for us to reset all controls, empty the text boxes. Whenever we create a vehicle, we save the information and we clear everything back to its original state. The original state is like this. No text box filled up, cars, passengers with 0, tire size with 0, fuel no selection, terrain no selection. Again, it has to go back to this state. So we're going to be setting the text property of the text boxes to empty string. Okay, so we're going to be doing this. So after we save it, I'm going to do clear controls. I'm going to say text box dot text equals to empty string. And again, if you want to use another way of cleaning the box, like I think that there is a method that you can use as well, you can, as long as it clears the boxes, okay? So we're going to do this for each control in our interface. So for text boxes, again, we are just using the dot text. It's all simple, very simple here. So I'm just gonna copy. I'm gonna save a little bit of typing here. So as you can see, all text boxes, we just set the text to empty string. Now, for the combo box, we will also set dot text to empty string. Okay, so I'm gonna do this for combo box. The first combo box, the second one, fill CBO terrain dot text equals to empty string. And then we're gonna set up for passengers entire size, we're gonna set them back to 0. Okay, so I'm gonna say nrud passenger dot value equals to 0. The other one, nrud tire size dot value equals to 0 as well. With this, we have reset all the controls, but it also asks to look at this. And set the selected type of vehicle back to car. So we have to set the radio group, the radio button as well. So the radio button that we have to set is this one. So we have just to say RBTN car checked equals to true. So it goes back to select the car. Okay, so we are just, this is basically resetting the controls back to its original state. Okay, so let me run this. Let's give this a try. Let's give this a good try here. I'm gonna put a breakpoint in the if statement so we can see the car getting created. So I'm gonna say this is a Corolla, brand Toyota, price 25K, warranty 5 years, store it's Oshawa store. Number of passengers 5, fuel it's gas, and then I'm gonna click on create vehicle. Look, I'm just gonna step through the code to show you that the car has been created. Look, car has been created, all properties have been filled up, and now we are adding 2 vehicles. Vehicles right now, it has no count equals to 0. But when we run this line, now we have count equals to 1. Okay, so look at this. We have car equal to 1. So now look, the controls, they got reset back to its original state. If I do this with bike, let's try with that as well. I'm gonna take the breakpoint out, so just you can see the controls getting cleared. Actually, there is one extra step here. Let me just have a look at the code. Okay, we still have to code this. Use messagebox.show to show the total number of vehicles stored so far in the vehicles list. Okay, so let me close this. Let me code the show as well here. So I'm gonna just say, here at the end, right after it clears everything, I'm gonna say messagebox.show, and then what is it that we're gonna show? We're gonna show the message that says total number of vehicles, and then we're gonna have to show the number of vehicles here. The way we get that is by using the vehicles list dot count. Count property will tell you the size of the list, and then we close this up here. With this done, I can run it again, and now we should have a message in the end that says total number of vehicles is this. So I'm gonna go there again, Corolla, Toyota, and price 25K, 5 years warranty, store Oshawa, number of passengers 5, fuel gas, and this is a car, and let's create. See, total number of vehicles equals to 1, then all controls in the UI have been reset back to its original state. I'm gonna do this with the bike as well. BMX, the brand is not sure, price is $700, warranty 3 years, store sport check, and then the tire size is 24 inches and terrain is for unpaved terrain. Create vehicle. Look, all clear, all back to original state. Total number of vehicles, 2. So we are just accumulating vehicles there. Okay? Sorry about that, I just saw it now. Professor, sorry about that, Christian, I just saw it now. How can we debug our codes that way? Debug the codes, we can put a breakpoint. So we can just put a breakpoint here, anywhere in the click. So in the if here. So I just put a breakpoint there, and I will try this again. So let's say, I'm just gonna put some numbers here, and some stuff here, and some fuel here, and I'm just gonna click create vehicle. See, it stops there, and then I can just go F10. I can go F10. See, it creates a new car. Vehicle right now has 2 elements already. I'm adding a third one. So after I press F10 again, now vehicles has 3 elements. And as you can see, it has 2 cars and 1 bicycle. We can even see the type here. Okay? Actually, Christian, if you are talking about how to put the breakpoint, is just click the gray, 1 click on the gray area, or you can right click and you can say add breakpoints, insert breakpoints. But again, the clicking does the job, you know, the clicking in the gray area. It's a normal click. It's not a right click, it's normal click. See a question there, is the text box of name linked with its form design? Okay, so let me understand the question. Is the text box name linked with it in form design? The text box name, we gave the name. Okay, so we gave the name manually. So we gave a name that makes sense, that is related to the name, to the brand, to the price. We gave it a correct name, a name that will remind me, oh, this is the text box for the price. Again, I'm not sure if it solved your question. The question was, is the text box of name linked with its form design? So what I understood from the question is that how do we name the control? So again, follow the standard, use a prefix, and then give it a name that is relevant to the information that it will be storing. Again, if you have any follow-up, let me know. Okay, again, this is 15. This is exercise 15. I just want to give you a minute to see if there are any more questions. If not, you're gonna go, okay. Question here. I just want to know data building, but in my, it's not there. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by data building. Data building here. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to change any other properties here. Data building, yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by data building. But in my, yeah, I don't understand the question. So again, if you want to rework on the question, let's do this. Just so I can refill some water. Let's have 5 minutes. Once you come back, we go through the other one quickly, and then we will go to our test, okay? 5 minutes, and I'll be back. If you have any questions coming to mind, let me know. Document them, and we will sort it out. 5 minutes. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me well. Just a quick check. Great. Okay, so I just uploaded the solution code for Padlet. So it's on Padlet, and I will be uploading to Slack as well. So on both of them, you're gonna have it there for this part. That's for 15. Okay, so again, you can download from there. Great. Any remaining questions about this exercise? Okay, so I'm going to move to exercise 16. With exercise 16, I'll just open the codes. And by the way, let me provide the solution already for this one too, as I have this open already. So exercise 16, the code is also there. What I'll be doing is I'll be opening the solution and I'll just walk you through how the solution was put together. Okay, so I'm gonna just close a few things here. Okay, so the second exercise, or actually the next exercise, it says this. It's asking you to create a search feature. Okay, so you have now a search box at the top that will find a matching vehicle. The vehicle that you type the name here should match the one that is stored there. When you click search, it finds that vehicle in the list and it displays the information back here. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through the code. So let's see here. So creates, yeah, so here we have the form. Let's have a look at the search feature. Okay, so here we have a label, a static label, label 10. We have a text box, which is the search text box. We have a button. I'm called it BTN search, where when I click this button, I'm gonna search through the list of vehicles for one that matches the name that I entered here. Okay, so here is how the button works. By the way, just a few things here. In the load of the form, so the form has, actually, let me go back to this afterwards. Let's go to the search first. So when I click search, I'm cleaning all controls. I have moved the cleaning codes to a method called clear controls. So every time I try to search for a new to search for a vehicle, I clear all the controls. Here, this is only clearing things up. I just moved this to a separate method because I'll be using this clearing of controls very frequently. Okay, not only when we save, but when we search as well. So I put it there too, but this is not the most important thing. The most important one is really this. Look, I'm gonna go through a loop. The goal is this, to find a matching vehicle. Match what? Well, match the name of the vehicle with the name that is searched here, that I type here. So I'm gonna go through a for each loop. So for each vehicle inside vehicles, check if the name is a match with the text in the search box. If it's a match, I want that vehicle. And I'm storing the vehicle. Now, look at this variable here. My vehicle. Well, you know what? My vehicle is, I have declared my vehicle outside here. Look, at the very top, I've declared a vehicle called my vehicle. This will store the vehicle if the search worked fine. If the search worked and found a vehicle, it's going to store under my vehicle. Okay? I'm going to show you why I'm storing this outside. So we find the vehicle, we set my vehicle to the current vehicle in the loop, and then we get the properties. The name of the vehicle, the brands, we set them up to the corresponding control. Okay? The price, the warranty, the store. Okay, so this part here is straightforward. We are just getting the vehicle and we are setting the properties of the controls to the properties of the vehicle that we found. Okay, matching the name. But then after that, a vehicle can be what? Can be a car or a bike. Okay, so I'm testing here. Is this vehicle of type car? Because if it is, I need to populate the passenger, the number of passengers, and the fuel. However, if it's not a car, and if it's a bike, if it's a bicycle, I need to populate the tire size and the terrain. But look, this terminology here is a little bit different from what we saw before, because my vehicle is a generic vehicle. Look at this. My vehicle is a generic vehicle. So, because it's generic, I have to convert a generic vehicle to a car so that I can get the number of passengers and the fuel as well. Because my vehicle, which is an abstract class, doesn't have number of passengers. It doesn't have fuel. A car has, but not my vehicle. My vehicle, I need to convert that to a child like this, because I know that this is a car. And then I can access the property fuel, the property name, number of passengers. Okay? The same thing I'm doing here. By the way, I was just overcautious here. This could have been enough, because if it's not a car, it can only be a bicycle. But that's okay. That's okay. You can leave this test here. In any case, if the type is a bicycle, then I need to get the tire size and the terrain. But tire size is specific to bicycle only. And my vehicle doesn't have tire size. My vehicle doesn't have a terrain. However, my vehicle is a bicycle. So I have to cast this vehicle here to a bicycle. Then I'm able to get the properties, the corresponding properties here. My vehicle is a vehicle class. Yes, it is. Probably, yes. My vehicle is a vehicle class. Can I use car equals to my vehicle as car? Okay, so you could, here's the thing. My vehicle as car. Let me see here. I don't know, Kang, if that's a syntax, if that syntax works. To be honest, I have not seen that syntax before. If you have tried that and it worked, great. I'm just not 100% about that syntax, okay? But again, if you tried that and it worked, great, that's fine. That's good, that's okay, so leave it. I'm just showing, as I said, coding, you have different ways to do the same thing. So you found another way, that's fine, that's good as well, okay? Okay, so again, we go from a very abstract, a more abstract class, an abstract class, to a concrete class by using the casting, the conversion. And then we select the proper checkboxes. If it's a car, we check the car checkbox, we uncheck the bicycle. If it's a bicycle, we uncheck the car, we check the bicycle. That's about it. Okay? Now, one more thing here. The reason why I've declared my vehicle outside is just because we have those two extra buttons here. If you look at the exercise, it says, and by the way, I didn't mention about the iSellable, so let me go to the iSellable here. So we have created an interface called iSellable, which has two abstract methods, one called make sale, the other one called calculate interest. iSellable became actually vehicle inherits from iSellable now. Under vehicle, I have implemented the make sale method. It's concrete in the abstract class. However, the calculate interest, because it's different from vehicle to bicycle, we have only placed it as abstract in the vehicle, but we define them in the bicycle and in the car as well. I'm using this constant called interest, which is 0.15 for cars, and for bicycle is 0.10, so it's 10% for one and 15% for the other one. Okay, so 10% for the bicycle and 15% for the car, and then I'm overriding calculate interest for both of them, for car and for bicycle. Okay, question, is calculate interest, can we call price without base? Yes, you can. You can call without, sorry, let me just think for a second here. Yeah, you can. There's no conflict here, so you can call price like this. That's no problem. Okay. Yes, you can just call price. Actually, if you can see here, it cannot. It does even. It's showing in a fading color, so it means that it's not really required. I just made it here. Yeah. So why we specifically did it with base? Because I just wanted to make it clear that this price is not defined here in the child, it's defined in the parent. But again, yes, that's it probably. I just want to mention that this came from the parent, not the child, but that's okay without that. Okay. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else here. So iSellable, we have done that. And then just two methods here, we did that. For each button there, we have, if vehicle is not null, we show the message. My vehicle.makeSale, my vehicle.calculate interest, and I'm setting the value to, sorry, I'm getting it formatted as currency. By the way, one thing that you will notice in this code as well is that in the load of the form, I'm creating two vehicles here. The reason is that I didn't want to create a new vehicle every time that I run the application. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create two vehicles up front. At least I can test search without having to enter vehicles manually. So that's why you're going to see this code here. So if I run the code, I don't need to add manually the vehicles. I can just say, give me the Corolla. Search, it finds, brings the information, give me the BMX. Search, finds as well. Now look at this, it's not case sensitive. So as you can see, BMX can be in capital letters, and here I'm searching in lowercase, but that's the idea. And then make sale, calculate interest, 10% of 660. If I do Corolla, calculate interest, 15% of 20,000 is 3,000. Okay. Probably Okay, when we are using make sale in abstract class, we don't have to use override because it's an interface. In interface, it is abstract. That's correct. Probably so. If you look at here, the vehicle. Okay, when we're using make sale, yes, that's correct. So we don't have to use override here because it's coming from the interface, and in interface every method is abstract already, so we don't have to do that explicit mention. Okay, okay, great. I know that the second part here was a bit rushed, I get it, but the good thing is this: the content of exercise 16 in the test, it is optional. Okay, so it's worth a bonus there, but it's optional. So don't worry if you didn't really got everything here that was talked about in terms of search, because it is the test, but it's an optional question there. Okay, so why we explicitly mention abstract for calculate interest? Calculate interest because we don't have a body here. If we don't have a body, probably it has to be abstract, okay? So that's the reason why we have abstract here. Abstract is not about the iSellable. It's about the fact that there is no body, there's no implementation in calculate interest for this method in this class, okay? That's why. It's saying that here in this class, this method is abstract. There is no implementation. Okay, that's really it. It's abstract. Well, it's not already abstract because I can implement it. I can implement it here. I can create a body here for it. Okay, but we are just inheriting it from the iSellable, but we are making it abstract because we don't want to implement it in the vehicle. We want to implement in bicycle and in car, not in the vehicle. That was the opposite that we have here with make sale. Make sale, we are implementing in the parent, in the abstract class. Don't know if it makes sense, probably, but that's why. Again, abstract methods, they can be abstract coming from an interface or not. It doesn't matter. Okay. I could have said something like this. If there is another method, I could say public abstract int return get value. See, I have just created another abstract method here. Because there is no body, then I need to use the keyword abstract. So abstract, yes. So abstract in interface only means without implementation. Yes, yeah, because in interfaces, we don't put the keyword abstract because all methods are abstract already. There's no implementation. You cannot implement anything in an interface. Okay? Now, in an abstract class, you can have abstract methods and concrete methods. So you have to make it clear whether you are creating an abstract method or a concrete method, even if it's coming from an interface. Okay, so we can do that. Asmita, for the combo box, we can load the values at runtime as well. Yes, Asmita, you can load the values in the combo box in runtime. That's fine. That will be fine. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. Any more questions? I would, if possible, I would like to start the test at 8 o'clock then, because then you would have a good an hour and 45 minutes to get it done. Okay, so any questions? Again, just want to give another chance here if there are any questions. Okay. Anything that I can help you with? Any final questions here? Okay, so as you get the test done, you can just upload the test to Centennial under test 0, under test 2, and then you can just leave. The question, can you please share the code? So the code is already shared. I have already shared the entire code. Here is the code. The code is shared on Padlet. The code is shared on Slack. Both of them. The code is shared. I'm saying this because someone is asking for the code. For the third time, the code is shared on Padlet. The code is shared on Slack. The code is not shared on Centennial. Okay? If you have any questions about where to find the code, well, I just said where you can find it. Okay. Okay, so I just want to say that it has been, because as you get the test done, you can just upload and you can leave. I will be online on GoToMeeting all the time. I'll be online on Slack all the time. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna turn off my camera here in my screen sharing, but I'll be checking if anyone has questions there. I'll be addressing any questions on the chat, okay? If you need to talk to me, we can figure out a way to do that. But just as you are done with the test, just zip it up, upload to Centennial under assignments test 02, okay? As I said, as you upload, you can leave. No need to wait for anything else. As this is the last time that I'll be addressing you as a class, it has been great teaching you. It has been a great experience as well, transitioning you from offline, from face-to-face to online. It has been a pleasure. I'm glad that we have done this together. I will follow up in the next few days with emails that I will be asking your feedback about the course, how things went, what could have been better. So you're gonna hear from me about that, as well as, about the test and anything like that. Okay? Any questions?